It's very difficult to know just how much the negative online chatter is going to impact upon the upcoming The Odyssey film, Christopher Nolan's adaptation of Homer's Greek epic. It's a modern take, to say the least, the dialogue being among the biggest issues for audiences to grapple with. Typically, epics like this have used English accents with received pronunciation, often referred to as Oxford English or High Formal English. This has been a convention of many epic films depicting everything from ancient Greece, ancient Rome, ancient Egypt. Although it's completely historically inaccurate, as people of those ancient times and places wouldn't have been speaking English, obviously. It's been a successful means of communicating a particular tone and sense of period. It's not historically accurate, no, but it is a stylistic convention that Western audiences have come to expect. They've become accustomed to it. And of course, it has its roots in British theatre, and that obviously evolved eventually into cinema. And it's been a means of portraying a feeling of classical refinement, sophistication, and antiquity. So ancient plays were often translated into formal English in British theatres and performed using Shakespearean-style performances and vocal cadence. They portray an archaic aesthetic, and it has become the expected formal dialogue delivery for ancient epic movies, films in this genre. Be they fantasy films or historical dramas. But Christopher Nolan has opted to forego this tried and tested model of storytelling, and instead, for the Odyssey, the characters will speak in a contemporary manner, which is quite jarring for audiences. Characters are going to speak in vernacular much closer to modern American English with American accents. And sure, it is just as inaccurate as the use of high formal English. It is nevertheless a significant departure for audiences, and it breaks decades of filmmaking tradition. And that cannot be understated. You can't just suddenly do that and expect people to assimilate to it. Though the film might still work if performances are good, the issue is that audiences do not expect characters from the 12th century to speak as people do today. Obviously, they also don't expect to hear ancient Greek being spoken, but they do expect the dialogue to reflect a different time period. And that's really critical. High formal English has become the accepted universal standard for Western audiences when watching this genre. And everyone knows that the characters wouldn't really have been speaking English in 12th century Greece, but they accept high formal English as a cinematic, linguistic placeholder. Without it, the Odyssey may lack the grandiose quality we expect from such big screen adaptations of epic tales. Personally, I wonder if it may make the film feel like an unintentional parody, almost like The Life of Brian or something. The second major issue that audiences are having with the film, well, are some of the casting choices. Helen of Troy is being played by Lupita Nyong'o, who may be a fine actress and all, but as people have pointed out, she's clearly not the same ethnicity as the mythological character from ancient Greece. Now, some people have pushed back on this and said, does it really matter? It's just a fantasy movie. It's not real history. Helen of Troy didn't actually exist. Sure, I understand that argument, but it is funny how such casting choices are never made when the mythological character is non-European. So they would never take a non-European mythological character and deliberately cast an actor who is European, for example. Everybody knows at this stage how the DEI game is played. There's been quite a few dislikes on the most recent trailer for the film. At the time of making this video, the most recent trailer on YouTube has 6.5 million views, 74,000 likes, and 687,000 dislikes. That is way more than I would have expected, even despite the controversies. I think it's very difficult to say at this stage if the Odyssey is in actual trouble as a film. Although many of you may jump to assume that it is, the backlash may be simply confined to a certain online arena and the culture war. Yes, from reviews so far, which have been from mainstream critics, the film is epic and impressive from a production standpoint, and I have no doubt that it is. They're all singing its praises. But from the trailers, just taking the trailers on face value, I'm not convinced, actually. I don't see anything in this film that draws me in. Great visuals here and there, yeah. I've no doubt there's big action set pieces, great action scenes, but there's something so wooden and dry about the dialogue delivery, and just something very empty about the film. I also don't like the look of it. Made all the worse by how bad the dialogue is, of course. The other thing that makes me skeptical about the amount of praise leveled at the film by mainstream critics, aside from the fact that they are mostly biased, is that they seem to be stacking praise on the film with just, superlatives, rather than focusing on specific details as to why the film is actually supposed to be good, without any explanation as to why I should see the movie. Nevertheless, with all of that said, I don't think the Odyssey is going to be a box office bomb. However, I will predict, and I may very well be wrong here, that the film will underperform at the box office. That doesn't mean it's not going to make some money back. Christopher Nolan's brand is strong. That name recognition is significant. Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, and Tom Holland all have significant star power right now. Despite the issues with the movie, if it turns out to be even half decent, I'm not seeing a reason why this film won't break even. Aside from the fact that the budget will be huge, obviously, so that's one challenge. I'm not predicting it'll be the next Oppenheimer either, but it could still do pretty well. Am I looking forward to the movie? No. I've watched the trailers. It doesn't wow me. It just doesn't really do anything for me. However, what I am interested in is finding out if the backlash is reflective of general audience sentiment or just people online who are more sensitive to the culture war stuff in Hollywood. And that's the question that I don't think anyone can really answer at this stage. And I think that's what is really on people's minds. Will a Christopher Nolan film really bomb? I find that hard to believe. And yet, I think 2026 has shown us at the box office that really anything is possible. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.